So hit it.
Hello and welcome to This is the Play Sports, the podcast. It's Sunday night. My dad is whispering to our producer, Sam, that he needs the whiteboard to see what we're going to talk about. I'll tell you what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Masters. We're going to talk about some volleyball. We're going to talk about the Jazz. We're going to talk about the NFL, college football, all that. And we're going to do it with a couple of our friends, all right? We introduce our friends to our listeners, Dad?
Yeah, Jim Burton, my longtime buddy and a regular contributor to the podcast. We go back to the Daily Utah Chronicle days. And speaking of the Daily Utah Chronicle, we have Eric Jensen, who's worked with Austin at 1280, I think, at one time. And so we get kind of a Cronny reunion, a couple Cronny reunions going this week, which is great.
4 Cronny alums and one current, 3 alums and 1 current member of the Cronny crew. So this is very thrilling for those of our listeners who follow collegiate newspapers. So, and
Jim and I are 57 years old. I just point that out. So we're proud of it. But hey, guys, let's get started. I don't know if you watched the Masters today, but it was kind of interesting. Saw a lot of interesting things. But our local guy finished in the top 10, Tony Finau. Jim, what'd you take from the Masters? I know you were probably watching today.
I did enjoy it. I love the Masters. I love the tradition. And I do like rooting for the local guys, whoever they may be. I'm glad you got your whiteboard there, Dirk.
We'd be lost without.
And I thought it was cool. The Masters has a tradition of an association with the Asian tours and some of the Asian countries. And I thought it was cool to see Hideki Matsuyama win it. I've been a fan of his. I really liked the way he played the game. He was strong down the stretch. Sometimes guys tried to give it away. And I've always been a kind of a Xander Schauffele fan, and I was kind of rooting for him at the end. And he has that bad hole on the 16th and
the triple bogey, right?
Yes. Which when I play, I don't like getting triple bogeys, but I often get greater than triple bogeys. So who am I to criticize anyone's triple bogey?
He doesn't like getting triple bogeys.
Yeah, those are the best holes of the day for me. So, yeah.
Eric, what'd you think?
When I golf, I like.
Oh, go ahead, Jim.
Go ahead. I just had a cheesy joke that I like to.
Well, throw it in, baby. Throw it in.
When I play golf, I like to say I hit more triples than Pete Rose. So that's what I anyway. Go on. Thank you.
Spoke the name of the great Pete Rose. Hello.
Of course.
Eric, did you watch it? Young fellows watch golf?
I do not watch golf as much, but I am not a good representative for young fellows. I don't believe. I was watching other sports this afternoon, but I do tend to tune in and watch the 18th. I like to see how things end up. I like the presentation of the Green Jackets, always cool. I'm not a golf guy per se, but I understand the importance of the Masters, and I think it's awesome that Hideki Matsuyama won it. I mean, it's so great for the game of golf that it's growing into this international sport, and you look now, the Asian market is part of the larger golf conversation in America now. And then hopefully there are people there at 8 a.m. in the morning watching the Masters and saying, hey, that could be me in 10 years. And we get more golfers and the game of golf just grows and grows. So I think overall, this Masters, it may not have been the biggest for ratings. You may not have had the most buzz around it, but I think it was really good for the sport of golf because it broadened the world view of it a little bit. And then the second place fellow, Will Zlatoris, I believe, I probably butchered that name. He really came on and came into the scene and really handled himself well throughout the tournament, placing in second. And it was nice to see some of the less traditional guys kind of jump into the top 10 and start establishing themselves a little bit, because I think when you have kind of more variance in golf, it gives people bigger names to kind of attach onto.
For someone who said they don't follow golf very well, Eric provided some really good analysis.
That's really good. But I think you watched it.
I've got a question for the group here. When it comes to like championship trophy power rankings, how high up is the green jacket on the list of best trophies in sports?
I'll just take the easy answer. Top 10.
Right. For me,
Sure.
it's like Stanley Cup, green jacket. I think
Really?
That's
Stanley
exactly
Cup's
what I
usually
was
the best
gonna
one.
say.
It's unique if nothing else. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
Okay.
with
And
with
then-
Austin on that.
And then the Korean baseball championship, the sword, I think is probably in that top 3 conversation. You guys see that?
No, I didn't.
It's a lot like that. Yeah, it's
Jimbo won
it's
it.
that.
wasn't it?
You know what's funny
It's
is
a letter opener.
it's that size too. They give them that little one, and they make them share it. Huh?
Well, just on a side note, Jimbo and I have a good buddy, Larry Livesey, who's worked with the Asian markets for the PGA Tour, and it's kind of neat to see kind of the fruits of his labors pay off in some small way. I'm sure
Shout out to Livesey.
his work had something to do, not with winning the tournament,
Yes.
but with spreading the game, making it worldwide. So he's done his share, and it's kind of cool. Like I said, it was kind of neat to see something different for once. Let's jump to the second quarter. Let's talk volleyball, guys. Utah has 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. Can't say that about basketball, but we can say it
Count
about volleyball. Eric, what do you think? You're up there at the U, and that Beth Lannery sent out a tweet and called it said Utah is a volleyball state now. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, look at the success Weber State has had as well. I mean, the Utes have done really well this year. They're the team I've kind of obviously followed the most closely. I've seen a few of their games this year. Very good up front. But overall, I mean, Utah is a volleyball state. You look at, especially at the high school level, how many top-end volleyball programs there are here in the state of Utah, specifically one at Skyline that's very good, and Murray also has a very good one as well. And just kind of all across the state, we produce like top-end volleyball talent that gets recruited across the nation. So I would say yes, Utah definitely is a volleyball state.
Jimbo, you kind of pursued a beach volleyball career at one time.
I did. I
Tell us
was
about
asked to quit.
Me too, actually. Tell me about what your thoughts are, because obviously Weber State getting in, Utah Valley getting in, BYU getting in, and Utah getting in. I think Utah and BYU have buys, if I remember right. In the
Yes.
first round.
You were right.
So they're considered among the elite teams
Top
in the
16.
nation.
Yeah.
Jimbo, what do you
Well, I think it's awesome, and you know what? It is. If there are 4 teams in the state that are playing, I'm sure we're not the only state. I'm sure there are states, California, for example, it's routine to have 4 teams, I would bet, playing. But if with 4 teams in, Utah absolutely is a volleyball state. And Eric makes a great point. I think that high school volleyball programs on here are great. If they're producing that kind of talent, that really bodes well, and it's pretty cool. And I remember my days at the Chronicle covering some volleyball, and I think it's great that the spotlight gets shown on some other sports that maybe don't get the same coverage that like men's basketball or football would get. And so I think that's a great thing, and I hope that it does kind of fuel more kids getting involved in volleyball and pursuing a collegiate career in it.
All right, Austin. There's the ball.
Boom. Yeah.
Nice.
No,
Too bad this is an audio.
Don't worry. We put this on YouTube as well. No, but no, I mean, I thought what Eric said was really great because, you know, like there really is like a really strong youth volleyball presence in volleyball. And if in Utah, I'm getting my words jumbled. But anyway, what I was going to say is, like, you know, I spent that year in Florida working for the Amateur Athletic Union. And in the Amateur Athletic Union, the bread and butter sport is definitely volleyball. And, you know, we hosted the Junior National Volleyball Championships there in Orlando, which is the biggest volleyball tournament in the world. And Utah was really well represented at this tournament. They had like a lot of success. A lot of these like really elite teams were from Utah. And it was fun to see. You know, I introduced myself as like the guy from Centerville when I, you know, took their championship pictures and all that. And I tried to crack them up by, making jokes about Crown Burger and JCWs and all that. But Cafe Rio, of course. But no, what Eric said is right on the nose. Yeah, Utah is definitely a hotbed. That was really loud. A hotbed for volleyball around the nation, for sure.
And for the record, there's really nothing funny about Crown Burger.
Nothing at
Yeah,
all.
it was like, I don't know what
The fact that I was there, I was the guy in Orlando, and I was like knew so much about Crown Burger. I think it caught them off balance, and that was the thing.
Tell them there
I
was.
think you need to set a higher bar for humor, Austin.
It was funny at the time, Eric. Okay, it was funny in that moment.
You should have said, "I bet my dad and his buddy Jimbo have burgers in their belly as we speak."
What I actually said is, you probably, if you've been to Crown Burger, you've probably seen my dad and Jimbo eating there.
That's true. What's really funny about Crown Burger is when a big guy goes in and orders a salad, which I've done at Crown Burger.
I've had that. I've had that
okay,
indignity
yeah.
myself, but we
Uh-huh.
do it here.
They have a turkey salad there that's to die for. I'm just telling you.
As long as-
And you go to the squeeze pump with the fry sauce.
Yes,
salad.
because I want to be healthy, but I want to have fun.
Got to have balance in all things. Balance in all
I
things.
could fit that on my license plate frame. I want to be healthy, but I want to have fun.
Absolutely.
That's our takeaway.
That'd be a good t-shirt.
Let's get going and
All right.
play sports.
Quarter 3, Utah Jazz, 24 straight wins at home. Jimbo, you covered the Jazz. That's pretty remarkable.
I never saw anything like that. I can tell you that. 24 straight at home, and in this era is pretty cool. Back in the day, the Jazz had when they could get a full crowd of people in there, and the Bear was riding his Harley around, pissing off Phil Jackson, who was waving off the fumes and getting all upset about the emissions. That clown. Those were the days, man. But hey, I think that's a terrific thing. I know they've had some ups and downs lately, but that's a team, and that's a theme that we've talked about throughout on these podcasts. Is they play a great brand of basketball, and I can tell you, it is a brand of basketball that translates when you start playing in the playoffs. And
Eric, go ahead.
possessions are at a premium. Go ahead.
Eric, what's your thoughts? I mean, how old are you, Eric, by the way?
I am a young buck. I'm 21 years old.
Okay, so the Jazz have more home
This
wins
chair is
than
older
have
than
years
that.
on Earth, right?
Yes, that is true. That's a factual statement.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that we'd be close there. What do you think, though? I mean, you don't know any different. You're young, and the Jazz are really good.
No, and both my not from this market. So I have not.
Should
No,
point out that Eric
I
is
did
a
not.
fit for transplant. By the way.
Oh,
Well, no, actually not. I am a Salt Lake City native through and through, born and raised here. But my dad is from Boulder, Colorado, and my mother is from near Baltimore,
News to me. Okay.
in the middle of nowhere, southern Pennsylvania, which is beautiful farm country. I love that. So, but back on the Jazz,
This
unless
podcast is sponsored by the Central Pennsylvania Tourism Council. So
yeah, back to the Jazz and less about random farm country. Listen, I mean, it is a fun brand of basketball, but you have to ask yourself, when the threes stop falling, what happens? And we've kind of seen that over the past few games. The shooting percentage from three has not been great over those between Phoenix, Portland, and Sacramento. And yes, it came back on kind of later in the Sacramento game. Things started to get back going, and they've shown that they can kind of shoot their way out of slumps, which is good. But still, you have to be able to score inside the paint, and I think they're showing they can do that over these past few games as well. Donovan Mitchell has done a great job driving inside. The way he strides is just amazing. I don't know. I see little things when I watch him play now. But just the length of his strides is really impressive inside, and the kind of balance that he has when he goes to the rack. I mean, it's pretty incredible. And I mean, you look at him, and I just don't see how you can look at Donovan Mitchell and what he's done since the All-Star break and not say, okay, the big names have not played full years this year. Why can't Donovan Mitchell be an MVP candidate? I mean, I don't see any reason that he can't be that, and especially with the way he's improved defensively this year as well. I think that all around he has just made, a tremendous leap into being, a top 10 NBA player.
Yeah. Austin, you and I kind of debated this a little earlier, and I was telling you, back in my day, the teams could, would push the ball into the paint, pound it in there, and score. And now everybody shoots 40-footers. I mean, they're kind of exciting, especially like Damian Lillard shot against Oklahoma City in the playoffs. Those are cool shots to see. But I kind of think in the playoffs, you got to be able to punch the ball inside and get baskets.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's a double-edged sword, like the better you play inside on offense, like usually you open things up on the outside too. So that's definitely got to be a big part of their game plan is, continuing to utilize Rudy Gobert on those pick and rolls and get him into the middle. But, it was funny, like we were having this conversation while we were watching like a replay of an old game at Buffalo Wild Wings. And like we were watching, like it was like a Suns Lakers game from 2006, and we were watching the game. It was like we watched like Steve Nash pull up from 18 feet. It's like that shot doesn't exist in the NBA anymore. It looked like a completely different game. But yeah, I to answer your question, yeah, I think they are going to have to figure out how to be more reliable inside for sure.
All right, fourth quarter, guys, is kind of football potpourri, if you will. Let's talk first about Zach Wilson with the deals and all that. It looks like he's going to go number 2, Jimbo.
Yeah, speaking of number 2, he's going to the Jets, and I feel bad for
you.
him.
Knock him down, baby.
Thank you. Speaking of volleyball, but I've always considered myself something of a Libre. No, I don't know what that means.
Go ahead.
I don't know what that means. No, it's a huge market. The Jets are a crappy team, and I feel bad for Zach Wilson because as much as I like the kid and as much as I like watching him play and I appreciate what he can do, I just don't know that he's going to turn around a team like the Jets because it's going to take way more than that. Because at this point, that's just a bad organization, and it's my hope that maybe somehow he ends up going somewhere else. But that's just I have nothing against the Jets personally. I like Joe Namath.
Sounds like you do.
I appreciated his white shoes when he played, but no,
I think you're thinking of Reno.
They were a storied franchise back then. Yeah, oh man, we talk about that if we want. I love that stuff.
Great movie.
Reno Hightower. It's such a good movie. Watch the Peyton's Places when he talks to Kurt Russell about that movie. It is fantastic. Anyway, the Jets they're a bad organization, and I hate seeing a kid from the Beehive State go and play there because I wish him all the luck in the world. I hope they get some help around him because that's what he's going to need. And but all the best to him. Honestly, all the best.
Eric, what do you think? You think that's a tough assignment for a kid from Utah to step into the New York media market and be the quarterback for the Jets?
I think if anyone could do it, it's Zach Wilson. He seems like a pretty affable guy. It seems like he's kind of cool under pressure. And, I disagree with Jimbo a bit because they've done a lot to prove that they are working really hard to not be the Jets anymore. Like, hiring Robert Saleh to me seems like the kind of move that the NFL overall reacted to as a huge win. Saleh is a player's coach. Everyone he's played for, he says they loved him. Russell Wilson has heard from guys, and during his whole trade saga this offseason, requested one of his locations potentially if he were to ask for a trade, which he says he didn't, which that's a whole nother story, to go to the Jets. So I do think it shows that there's real change in that organization. And I think Joe Douglas is a great GM who has a ton of draft picks. And I think it's going to be rough year one. I can definitely see that happening. But if he gives Zach Wilson a little bit of time to get used to it, to develop, I think the Jets are heading in the right direction where he'll get a real shot within the next 1 to 2 years. And I think he can do good things in the NFL. I really do.
Us in college football, Weber State's obviously playing games, and the other schools are having spring ball. The news out of Utah is that Charlie Brewer, the transfer from Baylor, is really
he's
getting
been doing
a
nice
majority of
things.
the snaps and doing some good things. So what are your thoughts just on anything college football related?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Weber State. I think they secured the Big Sky Championship last week. So, that's, great. Jay Hill's just been doing an insanely incredible job there. But no, I'm excited for college football because it feels like, the season we're heading into is going to be a lot more legitimate for a lot of reasons. The from the preparation to the, kind of being somewhat more on schedule, like what we're used to. And, obviously, like it feels like, we've talked about this before, that Kyle Whittingham kind of just saw last year as like a throwaway year, with all the weird circumstances they were in. So it's going to be fun to get things back to, what normal used to be. And it's exciting for the Utes to have like a guy who could play well at the quarterback position. That's something that they don't, always have. And it'll be a lot of fun to see how the Utes do. I think they have the potential to do a lot of good things.
We'll see if Cam Rising comes back, but if he's, there could be a competition this fall, but if not, they've got a pretty good quarterback. He put up some big numbers at Baylor, so Utes be in a good spot. Anything, guys, that you want to throw in about college football?
Yeah, I think that I would be kind of shocked that if Cam Rising comes back healthy, he's not the starter. Just from what Kyle Whittingham has said, I know he says Charlie Brewer impressed, and I know the media corps keeps asking him, oh, what do you think about quarterbacks? But he's been pretty consistent through this whole thing that when Cam Rising is ready in the fall, there will be a real competition. And the fact that everybody kind of went into last offseason and said, oh, look at Jake Bentley. He's this transfer kid who put up some numbers in the SEC. Like, I just think that there's something about Kyle Whittingham where he's like, okay, this is my guy. I recruited him. I want to go and give him a shot to start here. And I mean, also Charlie Brewer, he had major turnover problems at Baylor last year. He threw a terrible touchdown to interception ratio last year. It's kind of appalling. I believe it was like 3-2. And I just, that's not a Kyle Whittingham style quarterback. And I just think Cam Rising, if he's healthy, will end up winning that job, because I think that, that's something that Whittingham really wants to explore. And it's much easier to start Cam Rising and say, okay, do your best here. And if Cam Rising doesn't look good, you can go to Charlie Brewer. I think it's much harder to start Charlie Brewer and then in the middle of the season throw Cam Rising in.
I think the biggest thing is they're going to have really good competition. Like that QB room is pretty stacked with guys who have a decent level of experience. That it should breed whoever the starter ends up being. You feel like they have a lot of confidence in that guy.
Speaking of turnover problems, and I'm talking cherry turnovers, Jimbo and that's a Jimbo joke. I had to throw that in. But Jimbo, you're close to the Weber State program, and that they got a real shot of winning the national championship. I mean, they've had some close games this year.
They have, and I would like to see the offense be, a little more of a spark, I guess. But Jay Hill is a defense-minded guy, and he just and his fingerprints are on that team, and especially on that defense. The thing is that they just won their fourth straight Big Sky Conference football championship, and that's insane. If you think about where they were just a few years ago when after Mac left and then John L. Smith came in and that whole debacle, and Jody Sears got thrown into this mess, and it just got worse.
And then all his stores closed.
Back when I was working at the Standard Examiner, oh my gosh, it was. Yes, a Roebuck left him. That was ridiculous. No, nobody knows. Nobody gets that. We're old.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
If you said something about a catalog right now, how many people would know what a catalog is or a phone book? But don't get me started. No, I'm talking. But that was such a bad program, and it had become almost laughable. And I say that as somebody who covered the team, who was close to the team, and I knew how hard they were trying, but it was kind of, it got to be a laughable situation. And the Jay Hill came in and turned things around, and the seniors on that team have never not won a Big Sky championship, and that's crazy to think about, considering where they were. And that's all Jay Hill and his assistants and the guys that he's been able to recruit. And I know that he could have left early on in his tenure at Weber State, and he chose to stay. And look what he's done, and he can be so proud of that. And it's almost an emotional thing as a guy who's got ties to Ogden, to see what's happened to that program and where they're at. And yeah, I think they can vie for a national championship because they play great defense, but they've got some great weapons on offense, and they need to use them. Hopefully Josh Davis comes back and can be a threat. But it's fun to see Weber State football in the spring or the fall or the summer, whenever, just be that kind of successful, considering where they've been. That really is it's a great thing for the state of Utah, and especially for Ogden, because football has not really been a big thing around there lately, or not long ago.
Appreciate it, guys. Well, time for our parting shots. I'm going to jump in and go first this week. And I know Shaquille O'Neal is not a favorite of Utah Jazz fans for his little tirade with Donovan Mitchell. But this week, he paid for a guy's engagement ring, and someone videoed it, and it went out, and he just said that he tries to do something every day to make others happy. Now, I know he's got gazillions of dollars and stuff, but it was refreshing in this world to hear somebody who takes that serious, that I'm going to go out and, make somebody smile today, make somebody happy today. And he tries to do that every day. And I think that's to be applauded. And yeah, I didn't really like what he did to Donovan Mitchell, but boy, Mitchell's played lights out ever since too. So maybe if the Jazz do win it, they owe Shaquille O'Neal a playoff share, which he could buy a couple more engagement rings for somebody else. But, I just thought it was refreshing to hear. And in my professional interactions with Shaq, he's always been really cool and nice to work with. And so I applaud the guy for what he did. And I also like the fact that he said he doesn't like to have his acts of kindness known or videoed. Video, I guess video is the
documented,
word.
I guess.
Documented.
Yeah, recorded,
but as it were.
But it's just refreshing, I thought, to hear somebody say they want to go out and make others happy, because boy, we could all use that right now. And hopefully things will go well. So Oz, do you want to go? And then we'll have our guests give their parting shots.
Yeah. What I want to talk about is you and I were looking at like our trading cards, or your trading card collection last week. And it was pretty astounding to see like what you were, kept, and the value of those things. I mean, I'm not going to get into like what we actually found and like what they were worth, but it was incredibly.
I'll never have to work again.
Yeah, we're done. We're set. Yeah, we're moving. The show, the headquarters are relocating to Bali. Yeah,
we're moving up by Jimbo up in this new house.
Yeah, we'll be in Pepperwood by the end of the week. But anyway, no, it was really fun. I really enjoying the getting back into card collecting. They're insanely hard to find right now. If you get a pack of like baseball or basketball cards at Target, buy it and don't even think about it. Just buy it. But no, it was just kind of fun. Like the card collecting hobby is really big right now. It's really kind of fun to look at.
All right. Eric, you want to go? And then we'll have Jimbo bring us home.
Yeah, the weather's so nice right now. I know it's supposed to snow on Wednesday, but we live in Utah. We only get like 3 weeks a year where it's bearable, like enjoyable weather before it either gets scorching hot or freezing cold. I just gotta tell everyone, last pandemic, I picked up bike riding. Now is a great time to get out if you have a bike. Even if you don't have a bike, just go on a walk. Get out, take a walk around your neighborhood, go on a bike ride. It's a great time to be outside. I'm trying to be outside more this year. That's kind of one of my mid-year resolutions that I've made. So go outside, get some fresh air, breathe it all in, and take some time to enjoy the beautiful surroundings that we are fortunate enough to have here in Salt Lake City, Utah.
This is the place.
Good point. And to have those flowing locks that you have, to have the
Yes, indeed.
gentle breeze go through there.
Yeah,
for the day.
It's good.
See Eric walk down the street. He's got a nice little bounce to his hair. It
is. It bounces. Yep, that is true.
Jimbo and I can comb our hair with a washcloth.
Yes, and Robert Sala as well could join us in that suit.
Jimbo, how about bringing us home? What's your parting shot?
Okay, I will. First of all, let me show you this. You mentioned Shaq and trading cards. I found this the other day as I was going through cards. That's a Shaq rookie card.
Oh, in the plastic top holder. Whoa.
What's your address? Where
nice.
Do you
That's nice. Yeah, I need a new driver, so I will sell it. I need about 3 bills for that thing. But anyway, yeah. Speaking of golf, I do need a new driver. And it's important to get outside and enjoy the fresh air. But let me just say, there's a guy. I'm going to give him a shout out. I don't even know if he's dead or alive at this point. His name is Daniel Forsgren. Who's Daniel Forsgren? He's the guy that invented the technology that allows us to see the flight of the golf ball when a guy hits it on TV. Because I've been a golf fan for a long time. I started playing when I was a kid. I was terrible. I took it up again as an adult, and I'm still not very good, but I really enjoy it. But when golf sucked watching on TV when I was a kid, because you couldn't see where the ball was. This guy, he's from Sweden, Daniel Forsgren, invented this tracer technology. And sometimes I would love to see it used on guys, just average guys like Dirk or myself on the golf course. When you hit a shot, and if you could see the tracer technology, just shoot that thing sideways like it got shot out of a broken gun. That would be so cool. But every once in a while, when you watch golf on TV, you'll see a guy hit they'll just shank one. And the technology, if you YouTube it, there's plenty of them out there. But Daniel Forsgren is the guy that invented that. And I thought about it, and I looked up his name today while I was watching the Masters. I looked up who invented that technology, because it's cool when you can see that. And so shout out Daniel Forsgren, wherever you are. Thank you for making golf a little more interesting on television.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he reads and listens to the podcast. So I think
he does.
We do have a good stronghold in Sweden. So
no, I think it's a good point. I mean, I'm not a super golf fan, but on Sundays I love to just sit and watch because I can see where the ball's going.
It's much better,
and it moves fast, and it's exciting to watch. And
remember when they tried that with hockey, though?
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, Eric's a hockey fan as well. Yeah. They need to figure out how to tell hockey better. Yeah, because
it's changing next year. Bonus parting shot. NHL is moving to ESPN next year. They signed a contract deal with them. ESPN Plus actually is their sports wing.
Eric, I don't know if you knew this, but
I know they're owned by Disney.
Area of the Disney Corporation.
Right. But it is called ESPN Plus.
Right.
Don't mess with them.
I bought a stock of Disney, so I'm a stockholder.
Oh, nice.
And you've got a lot of baseball cards. Any other valuables you'd like to tell us about, and maybe give an address?
I mean, besides our Honus Wagner baseball cards and
my family, Jimbo, they're priceless.
Yeah,
there you go. It's like winning the lottery every day.
The old
Because
man isn't.
I would not give them away for $5 million.
Hey, speaking of winning the lottery, really quick,
7, maybe.
let's just do our newsletter raffle. Like we've already running long on this podcast. Let's do the newsletter drawing.
I apologize.
Hey, that
It tends to happen when you involve me.
Ronnie,
Eric, this was a good show. Okay, we had a lot of fun.
it was.
Our winner today, T. Taggart. Has he won yet? No, I don't think this guy's won. It's a guy
Is
named
your relative?
Yeah, this is not a blood relative, so this is great. T. Taggart at Yahoo. We still got lots of great prizes. I haven't heard back from some of our winners in a little bit, so plenty of prizes left in the basket of goodies. So
We're even going to throw in lunch with Jimbo.
I will donate. I've got a couple of books that I got a book that I wrote. I should donate some books to you guys
We
to
said,
give away to people.
we
I've
said,
got some.
throw 'em in the
unused.
hopper.
Yes, and then maybe I'll drop a Shaq basketball card in there as a bookmark.
that would be
Did
hilarious.
you want 3 bills for? I don't think so. I don't think you'll
That
throw
would be a
in.
hoot.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And just a reminder, folks, I want to thank Sammy, our engineer, and Austin for putting this together. And just remind you to go to thisisttheplaysports.com. We're new. We try to do a little different twist on things. We try to put good sports journalism back on the map. And so please join us. We got a lot of great contributors and such. And it's thisisttheplaysports.com. And we appreciate you joining the podcast and listening with us. Thanks again.
Thank you.